going live here on the Energy Podcast in a second. So come on in.
Okay. Alrighty.
Welcome to Zenergy, the interactive podcast providing resources for building a better life. I am Zenashe. I am a coach, a conduit, and a catalyst who launches humanity into greatness by accelerating mindset changes and replacing limitations with possibilities. Now, every week I kind of say, hey, this is such an important episode, and I'm going to say it again, because, like, somebody asked me, like, what is your favorite poem? And I always say it's the one that I'm memorizing at the time. So, this episode about grounding, getting grounded, I think is super, super, super important. And I'm really happy that I have two guests with me. And I want you to introduce yourself to the people.
Thank you. So my name is Joyce Soul, is AKA Joy Williams Beauty. I am a hairstylist by trade, as well as a spoken word artist, as well as a motivational speaker, and a bunch of other things that I do as well. But very nice to meet you. Thank you so much, Zen, for having me on today. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yes.
And
hello, my name is Evie Stacks. I am a lyricist, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I have my own business, Lucrative Persistence, call center, customer service. But I do music and a plethora of other things that we'll get into later. And thank you for having me as well.
Well, thank you for being
Awesome.
here. Before we get too far into the episode, I did want to send a shout out to our sponsor, the Arts Advocate. And the Arts Advocate is sponsoring all kinds of different arts and nonprofits, trying to get those two to work together, trying to, enhance arts in the Houston area and to get people to tap into arts for wellness, because the arts do allow us to express ourselves. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to be putting a link where you guys can actually support them. They are doing a fundraiser right now, so I wanted to shout them out before we got too far into the episode. And I also wanted to mention that this is October, and we have two causes that one is definitely near and dear to my heart and to Joy's heart, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm actually wearing this shirt which says, "Show my scars so that others can know that they can heal."
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. And also we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
So, we have those two really important causes. And I wanted to start off today with basically a short guided meditation, because I think that we all have such busy lives.
Yeah.
We have so much on us. Especially, there's 3 black women in this room at this table, and what you can't see off camera is a black man over there behind the camera.
Hey.
So, everybody has a lot on their plates, but
Yes.
minorities have a lot on their plates,
Absolutely.
in many other ways. And sometimes we need to take that off.
Yeah.
We need to release that.
Yes.
In fact, I think you need to release it daily,
Yes.
if not more than daily.
If not hourly.
Sometimes hourly, minutely,
Right.
I remember when I was younger, we had that wonderful college show that came after the Cosby Show, which my mind has, I can't think of the
Different
title right
World?
now.
Is it a different world?
Hmm?
Are you talking
A
about
Kind
different
of
world.
Different worlds, yeah.
And Jasmine Guy was going to therapy, and her therapist, who was Debbie Allen, I think, or Rashad, or Felicia Rashad,
Yeah.
told her to relax, relate, release.
Yes,
Relax,
yes.
relate, release.
Yes.
So we're going to do that for just a minute. So if you
Absolutely.
are somewhere where you can take a few minutes, I want you to just get into a space where you can just have a little bit of peace and quiet for a few minutes. And so I want you to put your feet on the floor, and I want you to close your eyes. And right now we're just going to feel our feet being on the floor.
Yes.
We're going to feel that we are supported. There is an earth beneath us, and it supports us. Nature supports us. And as you are feeling your feet on the ground, I want you to feel your ankles and know that you don't have to support yourself all by yourself. You have those legs there. I want you to just feel relaxation coming up your legs into your knees, and just feel that steadiness Just feel that you are supported, you are strong, you are grounded. You feel that relaxation coming up into your hips. You have strong hips. You have a strong back. You can stand for whatever you need to stand for. And I want you to feel the strength of your back. I want you to feel all in your belly. You have gut intuition that can lead you and guide you, let you know what to do, what not to do. You can trust your gut because you know how to listen to yourself. You know how to tap into that gut wisdom that you were born with. And I want you to just feel that relaxation coming up into your chest. You have a heart chakra. And your heart can also guide you. Your heart can also strengthen you. Your heart can also make you feel alive, full of enjoyment, full of peace, full of wonder. You can just feel your heart being open and full of love as blood flows in your body and around your body, and it's all oxygenated. We're breathing in, we're breathing out right now, and we're letting prana just fill us with energy. We're just letting it come in and oxygenate our cells. And I want you to feel that relaxation coming up into your shoulders. We hold so much tension in our shoulders. I want you to just let your shoulders drop for just a minute. Just let them drop. It's okay to just let all that go. Just let it all go. Just let them drop. And I want you to feel into your throat. Just feel that you can speak what you need to speak. You can tell your truth. You can affirm yourself with your words. And I want you to let your neck go. Just let your neck rest. We hold so much tension in our necks. Just kind of let it relax. You might want to dip your head to each side. Just kind of roll your neck and let it relax. Just roll it and let it relax. Let your shoulders and your neck relax. And then I want you to feel that you're going up into your head and you're feeling the clarity in your head. You're feeling that you can get intuition from your third eye. You can get guidance, wisdom. You can tap into that knowledge that you have. Your subconscious is there. When you're sleeping, when you take time to listen, you got these beautiful ears right here, but you also have an inner ear. So I want you to just feel those beautiful ears that you have to listen. You have people around you, wonderful support systems. Let them speak life into you. And then you have inner wisdom, inner guidance. You have your ancestors. And I want you to just feel your hands, these beautiful hands that create things, that shape things and build things and mold things, that touch people, that touch yourself. You know, sometimes you need to get some lotion, get some oil, put it on your body, get some sugar scrub, rub yourself down, you know. Connect with your body, connect with your skin, connect with your senses, be in the moment. Take care of yourself. And we're just gonna let all the tension go. We're just gonna be in the moment for just a minute. Just be in the moment, be present. And now we're gonna slowly open our eyes back up, and we're gonna come back. Thank you. Thank you for doing that with us. I hope you feel a little bit of relaxation and, you know,
Yes.
you feel a little bit of tension leaving your body. So that's
Absolutely.
one way
That
to
was
get
wonderful.
grounded.
Yes.
One meaning of being grounded is being in the moment
Yes.
and just
It's
not
amazing.
worrying about the past, not worrying about the future.
Right.
Just being in the moment.
In the present moment.
And being in tune with yourself. Sometimes we lose contact with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We forget. We're so out of touch with ourselves, we don't even know how we're feeling, what we're thinking, any of that stuff. So when I say getting grounded, what does that mean to you? I gave a couple of meanings: being in the present, you know, feeling a sense of support, connecting with nature. Those are some meanings of being grounded. What does getting grounded mean to you?
To me, getting grounded, I love how you started this meditation off. And I mentioned before we started that I have a meditation I love to do too. And what I loved about both of what I do and what you do is we started at the feet. And for me, being grounded simply means getting out of your own head. a lot of the times. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a visionary. I have always have ideas running through my head at any given time, or thoughts, or desires or things that I want to do. And so I love being grounded in the space where I literally get out of my own head and I get present in my body. Starting at the feet really makes me feel connected. Even my root chakra makes me feel connected to the earth and to the ground and to the things that keep me stable and give me a foundation, which is my morals and beliefs and values. And so that's pretty much what getting grounded for me means is just getting out of my own head, also getting out of my own way. So
That's good.
that's what it means for me.
Is there anything that you wanted to add?
Just for me, it means being consistent and determined in the midst of the chaos.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. And knowing how to stay grounded and remain mentally grounded, with everyday things. Because we plan one thing, but then, unforeseen circumstances happen all the time.
Right.
So being able to still have some type of structure or plan of yours, to be able to go back to a guide, even, to just like with the meditation, something to start off to just release little everyday pressures. So just, remaining consistent and balanced in the midst of.
I love it.
I love that too. So there's a lot of stuff I want to go back to. I love what you said about remaining consistent in the midst, because, and you talked about being stable and knowing what your morals are, knowing what your beliefs are. When I was in college, I got the nickname Zen because, there's a poem that I normally do about there was this crazy day, and in the midst of all the chaos, I still stayed at peace. And people were like, I need some of your Zen. What are you on? I need some of your Zen. Because in the midst of people shouting and orders not coming out on time and people dropping trays and all this stuff, I'm still staying placid and calm and not letting all that affect me. And so that's kind of where I got the nickname Zen, just that I could stay constant and not let all of that chaos kind of shake me.
Yes.
And I think that that's part of being grounded, that we have something to go back to. We realize we have something to go back to.
Absolutely.
Our morals, our foundation,
Yeah.
our goals. Regardless of all this chaos, my goal, my vision, I'm still going there.
Right. That's right.
I may have to go under. I may have to go to the side. I may have to go to this other side. I may have to, I may have to blow some dynamite through the mountain.
That's right.
I'm still going there.
But I'm still going there.
So I still have that. Yeah, I still have the objective. So I think that having rituals, tools, a foundation to keep us stable and secure is really powerful. And I think that pretty much everybody goes through times when all of that is shaken.
Right.
When all of that, it could be chaos, as you were mentioning. With it being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I think I'll start with when you leave home.
Come
in
on.
your 20s.
Come on.
And you think that you know what you're doing, but you may not exactly know.
Right.
Absolutely.
You think that you made some good decisions, and then you end up in some bad situations, and you might have to reevaluate.
Right.
I particularly ended up in a domestic violence situation, and then when I left, I realized I had lost myself. So you're talking about your goals, and you're talking about your identity, your morals. One of my morals was not getting divorced. But I had to reevaluate that and say, okay, I'm gonna need to get divorced, but I still can value marriage.
Absolutely.
Even though I particularly have to get divorced at this time. That doesn't change the foundation that I value marriage. It just changes the fact that this particular marriage I don't value. Because it's not healthy, it's not safe. So sometimes I think we have to redefine what we need and what we want and what we're going for. Right. And then redefine how we're going to get there.
Right.
And so I think that that's also part of getting grounded, is giving yourself permission.
Yes.
To make a different choice.
Absolutely.
And giving yourself permission to use your voice, to make a different choice.
I
So
agree.
what actually made you pick this topic?
So I believe what really made me pick this topic is I feel like when you use the word redefine, that's one of my favorite words. And I say that because I believe that as we grow and evolve over the course of our lives, we're constantly redefining ourselves. We're redefining our lives, we're redefining what we want out of life, what our careers look like. And in the midst of redefining, the only way that I feel like you can truly do it and get some direction is to first ground. And so I've been through several spaces in life and different sort of situations that required me to come back to myself and come back to my center to say, okay, where's my starting point? Where's my base? As I'm redefining what this new chapter looks like, going through whether it be divorce, domestic violence situations, career changes. What does this new space look like? And the only way that you can properly, I feel like, redefine is to get grounded and to sit with yourself first. I think that that's where the basis of any and everything that you do starts from, is getting back to your center. When it comes to any of the multiple businesses that I own, when it comes to me as a creative exploring a new idea or a new part of my life or a new part of my creativity, which is my music now, all of that starts with me being grounded first. And so I think that a lot of times people may not necessarily know what that means, or it sounds like, oh, that's hippie tree hugging type stuff when we say grounding. And, people don't really understand that it's very simple and very easy, but it's so effective and powerful for everybody to know how to be grounded and how to get grounded. So that's why I chose that topic.
I agree. It's very effective and very powerful.
Yeah.
And what what's going through your mind right now as we're talking about the importance of grounding? Why do you feel that it is important to be grounded?
For me, the bigger picture is, to have a deep love for children. So those coming behind us need an example. And we have to change the narrative of things that have been passed around generationally. So for me, you all use the word redefine, and I'm sitting here thinking we have to also retrain in order to redefine. So that starts with, teachings and, retrain the mind and what we've been taught in order to redefine the full collective of what's going on. So
Right.
That's what I'm over here thinking about. We all need to retrain from day one,
I agree with you. So I'm going to go back. So here I am. It's 1999, and I have just gotten divorced, and I have my sons. I have twin boys, so they were born in '95. So they are, about 4.5, almost about to be 5 years old. And I got these two boys, and I've just become that woman, divorced woman with a husband who cheated on her, who's been abused, and I'm that woman.
Yeah, a statistic.
Right.
Yeah, I am a statistic.
Yeah. I know that
black.
feeling.
Yeah.
At one point during that time, I'm on, WIC. I am just feeling like,
Right.
I did not want to be
Here.
that woman.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, I even wrote this essay called That, one of those women.
Yeah.
Because my grandmother would always say, don't be one of those women.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those hussies, those women.
Yes.
Don't be, and I was that woman. And then I had to, as you were saying, redefine. I had to go back to my foundation.
Yeah.
And I had to say, okay, that didn't work.
Right.
Can't change the past.
Right.
I have these two children. What am I going to do? Who am I? And that's a good question. Who am I? Who am I now that I'm not a wife? Right? Who am I now that I'm not this woman who's going to be married till death do us part? Who am I? And I'm not going to define myself by statistics.
Right.
I actually made a big poster. I don't know what. I went into some program and I made a big poster, A to Z. Okay. And I just started listing adjectives. I'm athletic. I am an academician. I like to learn. I'm a believer. I am courageous because I left this situation. And I just started listening. I was like, this is who I am. I didn't know much about affirmations back then, but I began to affirm myself.
Yes.
And I began to get
Yes.
grounded in that and begin to believe in myself because I needed to retrain. You were talking about retraining. I needed to redefine
Absolutely.
myself. I needed to retrain myself, but I also needed to get grounded in a different vision of myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have to feel like a failure. I didn't have to feel like, you know, some of the messages that you get when you're in an abusive situation. Ain't nobody gonna want you.
Yes.
Nobody but me gonna want you.
Mhm.
You know, and you this and you that and you this and you that.
Yes.
And I had to say, no, 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 I'm not that stuff that he said. I
Yes.
am these things. I'm gonna look at this every day. I put it up. I'm
Mhm.
gonna look at this every day. I'm gonna talk to myself every day.
Mhm.
I'm going to ground myself in this. I'm gonna build a new identity from the ground up, and I'm gonna believe in myself.
Mhm.
And you know, and that was a great thing, and that was a wonderful thing. So that was my first time of
Your first intro to
redefining
it.
myself,
Yes.
redefining myself, retraining
Yes.
myself, washing, brainwashing myself to
Right.
believe in myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have to do that.
When you were coming out, how did you ground yourself? What did you use? So I used adjectives. I made myself a poster. I looked
Yeah.
at it every day.
Yeah.
I began to reaffirm myself.
Mhm.
I read a lot of books, and I also went through a divorce support group. And you know, we were talking before we started about sometimes you need to get help.
Yeah.
I went to the Women's Center.
Yep.
And I was in their support groups. I got a lot of help. I went through some therapy. You know, 2 years of therapy to be exact. 2 years of therapy to get myself
Clear.
back, clear and back to sanity.
Yes.
Because there was a little bit of, you know, I never was classified as temporarily insane, but I think that there's some times when you just seem to have lost yourself and you just have to find yourself again.
Mhm.
So what kind of helped you? What were some tools that helped you when you first began to get grounded in who you were again after you were coming out of that situation?
So definitely, I have what's called, I call it a manifestation board. I have been doing vision boards probably, I don't know, since I was in my early 20s. And one thing that I realized with the vision boards, I was like, I put this stuff up here. And because I'm such a constant manifester, I find that I go through my vision board throughout the year, sometimes even before the year's over, right? I've hit all the points. And I've grown throughout this year, but all this stuff is glued on this board. So I can't add to it. I can't change it. I can't say, okay, check, now let me add something else. And so it was just kind of a natural thought process for me to, okay, I need a board that moves and grows with me. So I got a dry erase board and I began to call it my manifestation board. And so on this dry erase board, I have certain affirmations. It may be a quote. There may be some things that just have come out of my own spirit, short lines of poems or different things that I've come up with. And, you know, I began to put this up. And then as I began to see those things manifest in my life, I may erase it and put something else, right? And so it throughout the 365 days of the year, it grows with me. Unlike, excuse me, I have a sneeze. My allergies in Houston are acting nuts. But unlike a vision board, it is something that is alive. I feel like it's alive with me. It grows with me. And so, you know, some of the things I began to put on my manifestation board are things such as abundance is my birthright. Or I have everything that I need. There is no lack. And so those are things that I put on there. Now I'm saying abundance is my birthright and I have everything that I need. There is no lack while going through a divorce, sleeping in my salon, not having a car, not having, you know what I mean, the things that I thought that I felt that I needed at the time. But really all I needed was my peace and my sanity to redefine myself and get myself back grounded. And then from there, out of that situation, I birthed Joyce Soul Apothecary, which is a line of self-care products that help you to, they're tools that you can use throughout the process. You know, self-care is definitely not just bubble baths, but it is, bubble baths are tools to help you get to a certain place. And so between my manifestation board, literally learning how to make, I was like, God, why do you have me up at 3 o'clock in the morning making soap? I don't know how to do this. But it was just like, there were some things that I was just compelled to do. And it was really like, okay, what makes me feel more like myself? You know, going through a divorce or coming out of situations because it wasn't just the divorce. There was some friendships that were lost at the same time because people start showing their true colors. There was a lot of things happening. Shifts and things were happening with my inner circles or family relationships, and so a lot of stuff was happening in my life, and it really got to a point where I had to say, okay, what makes me feel like myself? What makes me feel good? Because those things can take you to a really low place. And what can I do to raise my vibration? How can I feel better? Well, I feel better when my skin is soft. I feel better when I feel beautiful from the inside out, not just putting on makeup, but when my skin and my face is glowing, and those types of things. And so I began to really self-care myself back to mental health. In addition, I did seek out professional help, and I got a counselor. And you say you took this in 3 years, baby, and I'm still in therapy. I think that everyone needs a therapist, and that it's an ongoing thing. When I started therapy, I was going once a week, sometimes twice a week, because I was like, girl, if I don't come see you, somebody going to jail. So I need to get to therapy ASAP. Now it's more so of a maintenance thing. I may see her once every 2 months, once every 3 months, or something like that, just to kind of keep and check in with myself. If there are times where I need to say, okay, I need to come in more frequently, my therapist is amazing at that. But, I definitely feel like just being on your path and giving yourself the right tools, between my therapist and then the work that I was actually putting in myself, I feel like is what helps, because you can't just go to therapy and think the therapist is going to fix everything for you. You have to actually do the work. And then sometimes you get lost in the work, and so you need some guidance, and so that's where the therapist comes in. So they both work in concert, I think. But I definitely feel like, you get to a low place and you just start to look around you, and I'm drowning. Let me grab this lifeboat. Let me grab this floater. You know what I'm saying? And we just gonna work with these two things until we can see more. We can see better. So
I like that. We can work with these two things so we can do some things.
That's it.
And that's really what this podcast is for. Because I never know who's watching. I never know. There could be a woman who's literally like I was, with 3 garbage bags and 2 kids.
Yes.
Leaving her abusive husband. And she's tuning into this podcast, sitting on the floor of an apartment, and there's nothing in that apartment but 3 garbage bags and her 2 kids.
Yeah.
And she's got an air mattress on the floor, and that's where they all gonna sleep.
Right.
I mean, that's my story.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know. You could be in a mansion. You could be, but that doesn't mean that you don't have issues. Everybody has issues.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know who's listening and what they'll take, but the thing is for us to say, hey, these are tools that helped us. And wherever you are, if they help you, use them.
Absolutely.
So what's going through your mind right now about, tools, whatever difficulties, you might not have had some of the difficulties we've had, but you mentioned redefining yourself. We talked about kind of how we were redefining ourselves through therapy and through, she had the manifestation board, I had my poster with my adjectives on it. When you were going through a process of possibly redefining yourself, or being even challenged in your identity, because sometimes people tell you who you are, who you should be, and you have to fight for your identity.
Absolutely.
And to fight to ground yourself in who you truly are. What kind of helped you?
The biggest thing that helped me was prayer. At the times that I was going through things, I couldn't even think about a manifestation board. I couldn't think about, I would think about seeking outside help, but due to the circumstances, the resources weren't available. And I had gotten to the point of being tired of being misled or spending, so many hours researching to come back to the same, starting point. And so I started also writing and manifesting the life that I knew I wanted. So I found myself, some bad situations around some bad people, and I knew that that's not what I wanted or where I wanted my life to go. So I just started writing my life and believing it. So even though I wasn't there yet, I was like, well, it's 2012, but I know 2015, I'm going to do this, and this not going to be it. I'm going to have a new set of friends, and this is my life. And I started believing those things, which comes into play with retraining my mind, because a lot of people will project their shortcomings upon you, and I didn't realize that I had collected a lot of that with losing my identity with who I was.
Right.
And I didn't realize so-called friends were really envious and jealous of me, trying to steal the light and power that I had and use it for ill, And so again, just prayer, writing things down, and I had to be my own counselor. I eventually did, take some sessions, but every time I opened up and told the story, what I was dealing with, what I was going through, they patted me on the back and said, "Keep going, because you got it. Nothing's wrong with you. You don't have any mental issues. You might be going through something, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I'm not gonna, give you any medication. I was not seeking any, so I just kept going. And I said, okay, well, God gave whatever this is in me, so it's in me, and I don't need someone else to tell me or to help me out of whatever situation I put myself in. I didn't need that assurance that I may have been looking for, a validation from another person. And once I started believing that, things started to change drastically and rather quickly. And especially being, I am a teenage mother, so I had my child early at the age of 16. So being in that mindset of survival, and you're back against the wall, I understand being in an apartment with a trash bag and a pallet. Sometimes it don't start off with their mattress. I don't start off with their mattress all the time. So just the levels of growth, and just to know, and that in itself, the challenge, I use the pain and the challenge to help me more than hinder me.
Yeah.
So I use that as fuel. That's what I do.
That is, man, pallet. Okay. I got all my dishes and my groceries from my coworkers.
Yeah, baby.
I have it.
Right. Absolutely. I understand.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, man, wow.
That'll ground you.
I had that experience too of going to therapy and saying, "Now this therapist can't help me because they have no suggestions. Let me go somewhere else."
Absolutely.
And I ended up having to try maybe 3 or 4 therapists till I actually got to one that actually understood where I was and understood how to move me forward.
Yeah.
Because at the time, if I knew what to do, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm here because I'm lost.
I need help.
I'm confused.
Yes.
I'm stuck.
Yep.
Give me something.
Give
me something.
Yep.
So if you're telling me I'm doing good, I know I got my head above water.
Right.
I know that. I know I'm not drowning dead.
Right.
But I feel like I'm about to go under, so give me something.
That's right.
So it took a little bit of searching, and I was determined. I was like, there got to be somebody out here who could, because I don't want to keep beating my head against the same wall. And I did end up getting some really great therapists who really did help me move forward. They gave me books. I will always tell people books have helped me so much in terms of grounding myself.
Yes.
Because when you grow up seeing, how can I put it, some toxic mentalities, and that's what you are exposed to. You know it's not right, but you don't know what you should do to be different.
Absolutely.
You haven't seen anything different, so you don't know what different looks like. So it's like, how do I learn what different looks like unless somebody shows me what different looks like? And then you get a book handed to you, and it gives you a different way of looking at things, and you're like, oh, I can look at it that way. I can do this technique. I can do that technique. I could. When people tell you possibilities, it's like, wow, I never knew that. Or even just reading somebody's life story. That's why I also have people come on here, because when you see somebody who's been, like, you guys looking at me did not know that I left my husband with 3 garbage bags and an air mattress, okay? But that's true.
Absolutely.
So, and you wouldn't know that she had a pallet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we're here.
Yeah.
And we weren't always here.
Right.
We got here through a process of development. And so, if you do some of the things that we did, you can have some of the successes that we're having. It may look different in your life, but, it's a process.
Absolutely.
And you guys keep talking about manifestation, so I'm gonna bring something up. I'm gonna give each
Okay.
one of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let my cameraman kind of slide in on this. This is a manifestation box, and they were talking about manifesting. You know, manifesting is a word for bringing what's here in your invisible thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
in your heart, the desires that you have that are invisible to the physical world.
Yeah.
We manifest all the time. Everything you see around us in this room was manifested. Somebody created it. But manifesting is the process of actually setting about to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm giving them these manifesting boxes. So I wanted you to read like the directions in there, because you can buy these. They're actually $10 for a basic box.
I love
and
it.
you get a set of you get a direction sheet in
Stickers,
here.
yeah.
So could you read like the top part of that?
Absolutely. So my manifestation box, the gift that keeps giving, use it as a way to win your morning before new ventures, after graduations or promotions, weddings, anniversaries, birthday gifts, to introduce goal setting and affirmation to children or teens, as a team builder, as a way to wind down your day, as a mental break or motivation, and as a pick me up.
Awesome. And so
I
you
love
get those directions, and she's going to read the back. Can you just read the other side?
Sure. My manifestation box. The box has limited it. The box as limitless as you are. Manifestation cards are here. You read the poem. You write your goal. You visualize it. I know it's yours. Filled with joy. And then there are affirmation chips. You say them, visualize them, write your own on the back. I am, I have, I can, my life is, my health is, etc.
I love
And
it.
thank you. Could you pull out a chip and read
Yes, ma'am.
one of the chips? So there's 10 chips in there. They say different things. So she's just going to read one for you.
Okay. So this chip says, follow your heart.
And you gave us one of your affirmations earlier. You said, abundance is my birthright.
Yes.
So you could actually, if you wanted to write abundance is my birthright on the back of that chip,
Okay.
that could be, one of your affirmation chips.
Absolutely.
And there's a bunch of different ones. Could you read the manifestation card? On the back of the card, you're actually going to write your goals. Now, we're not going to share any of our goals because I believe goals are sacred and you should keep them kind of low key until
Close.
they manifest.
Yes.
But you can read what's on the card.
Okay. It says, I live in a realm of possibility. The good I imagine exists for me. What I write is now my reality. I co-create with the Creator my new destiny. So it is, so it will be Zenergy.
Thank you. And then at the back is blank for you to write your goals. So
Love
this
it.
is a place for you to put your dreams, your visions. This is a gift you can give to the person that has everything, because they can manifest whatever else they want.
Absolutely.
And just to stimulate goal setting and just to help people to have the life that they want.
I love that.
So
I love it.
This is needed.
well, I'm glad.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So okay. So you talked about starting to make soap.
Yes.
And you talked about how that was helping you to feel more beautiful, feel like you were caring for yourself, feel like you were healing.
Yes.
So what made you decide to start an apothecary? What made you decide to do that?
So, as a hairstylist and trichologist, I've been in the beauty industry for over 20 years. I've worked on film sets, on TV, commercials, photo shoots, etc. The Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, Miss Universe pageants, like all those things. And one of the things that I find that is a common string in this industry amongst the crew, which would be like the hairstylist, makeup artists, as well as the talent, which would be like the models or the pageant girls, is that everybody always puts everyone else in front of, like, as a priority in front of themselves. We're taught, not only as women but as men too, that everyone else goes in front of us, that we should prioritize everyone else. And what happens is that often we end up creating, giving, performing out of an empty cup. And so for me, when I recognized that I had given all of my energy away, I had given so much of my power away, I had given so much of my love away, and had not received it back, it had not been reciprocated, or, I recognized that, okay, the first person I need to feel is myself. The first priority I need to have is myself. That's my first responsibility. And it's actually no one else's responsibility but mine to make me happy and to fill my cup. And so, you know, from having to learn to do that stuff for myself, I recognized if this is a problem that I recognize with myself, and I work in an industry where I touch people all the time, and all of us have the same problem, then there's got to be something that I can provide that will help us get to a solution for that. And so Joyce Solapon became that solution. It's a brand of tools and instruments and homeopathic herbal utensils, really, that you can use to help feed your body, help feed your spirit. And so in the line, there is all sorts of things for spiritual cleansing. I have sage, I have Palo Santo sticks. I actually personally, I'm a herbalist practitioner. At the end of this year, I will be certified as a master herbalist. And so I have like spiritual baths and herbal baths. I have yoni steams, yoni oils, body butters, body scrubs. Everything is all natural. I am the manufacturer, the labeler, the producer, the shipper. There is no middleman. There is no middleman. Everything is all made by me in small batches. There are no preservatives in my products. Everything is very pure. Most of the products and everything that I have is organic or vegan friendly, those types of things, baby friendly, that type of stuff. So, you know, I just wanted to make sure that I put some good quality, healthy things back into my body and on my body, because whatever we put on our body, it takes 30 seconds for lotions, butters, whatever you put on your skin to absorb into your bloodstream. And so then whatever is in that product or whatever spirit is on that product has now absorbed into you. And so a key component of my creation, even of Joyce Solapon, is that as I'm creating these products, I am praying. So one of the things that you'll hear a lot with Joyce Solapon is handmade with love and prayer, because literally I'm putting that love and that prayer into every single product. I don't even create or make products if my spirit and my energy is not in the right space. And so I believe that that has so much to do with the way my products are received and how effective they have been for my customers, because you're receiving it in the spirit, you know, that it's given, and you can actually use it as a tool to help yourself. So
I agree. You know, we have a lot of similarities because my podcast, one of the taglines is enhance your life, impact your circle. First, enhance your life.
That's it.
And then impact your circle.
That's right.
That right there, the butterfly is the person.
Yeah.
And the butterfly, you know, of course, we know that a caterpillar goes into a chrysalis and begins to transform. And it has to actually let go of everything, everything that it is, and to transform. Right. And then it transforms. But when it gets into its natural environment, like that water, it ripples out. You know, so the butterfly, even the smallest things that you do can ripple out and have, you know, big results. So small changes, big results. So the whole idea of whatever you do within you can ripple out into positive effects in your community.
Absolutely.
The small changes that you put in you can ripple out. So I do believe here is where we begin, inside first. Inside, everything begins inside and then goes out. And also, I also believe, like you said, that we have to care for ourselves. You know, you hear that the airplane thing about put the mask on you first.
Absolutely.
Help everybody else if you're passed out, that kind of thing. Right. And we all are bad at that. I agree.
Yeah.
Because even the two of us will admit that we are bad at it. We are learning, and we have created a whole brand to try to remind ourselves to take care of ourselves and to push other people to take care of themselves. Yeah, so that's very powerful. And I also wanted to say another way that we are aligned is a lot of what I create, my books, they come right out of meditation. They come right out of, I wake up with dreams, and those dreams become poems. I'm praying, I'm meditating, and ideas come to me, and I create products. You know, the poem on that card, I was meditating about hey, I want to begin to really manifest. What do I need to be saying? What do I need to be what do I need to be doing to get to that point where I'm really getting to where I want to be?
Right.
So a lot of what you see when people pick up my products, they're literally coming out of meditation, they're coming out of prayer, they're coming out of me humbling myself and asking God, hey, help me become better at what I do. Help me help more people with what I do. You know, and so a lot of what I do comes straight out of that seeking, that soul searching, digging deep down into spirit and letting those things come out. So I know that you guys have created some things together recently that's kind of an extension to try to get more people to tap into the power of music, because another way that we can be uplifted. I'm a poet. I started off as a poet. Before I had a single product in this room, I was using poetry because I know that poetry, I know the arts transform. They touch people in their souls, they touch people in their minds. They get way beyond what you hear. It's way beyond the words. It's the spirit in the words. It's the heart. You can feel the authenticity when someone's really sharing their heart with you. And you guys decided to create some music. So what, like, how did you meet? And we're gonna listen now. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram audience. We are going to listen to their music in a minute. I'm going to ask them to tell you where you can go, because when we put those headphones on, you won't be able to hear the music. So for about 3.5, 4 minutes, it's just going to be silent on this live. So
just so you know.
So just so you know. But later when the podcast audience is streaming it, they'll hear everything.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be playing through the headphones. But before we listen to this, I want you guys to kind of tell us how you came together, how you came up with the idea for Joy Soul Music, and what your music is about, you know.
Okay. So Joy Soul Music was, I've always been a poet. I've always written and journaled and, you know, all that stuff. And so, of course, my name is Joy. And even when I was coming up with with Joyce Solapon, it actually used to be called another name. It was called Joie de Vie Naturelle, which is French for the joy of life naturally. And it was my sort of transition, right, into really having the double entendre of like loving myself in my natural aspects, whatever that looked like, whether that was my light, whether that was my shadows, whatever. So once I came out of that transition, I realized that I had a soul change, that everything about the way that I functioned was different now, that I was a different person. I've raised to a higher level of consciousness. And so I felt that joy plus soul was very representative of who I am at this stage in my life. And so that's where the name came from. And I was woken up, I always tell the story, for 2 weeks in a row, every day at 3:33 in the morning, I woke straight up out of bed. And every single time it was like, okay, what am I up for? Do I need to pray? What do I need to do? And I kept hearing, you need to record your voice. And I'm saying to Spirit, okay, I have a lot of gifts. I have a lot of gifts, and I am so appreciated for all these gifts. But the gift that I do not have is singing. So what exactly do you want me to record my voice doing? And what I kept hearing was speaking. You're a speaker. And so I'm like, okay. So I continued to write and started writing. And at the beginning of this year, I put on my manifestation board as well as my vision board, I am going to create what I believe is called affirmation music. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I do know that it's affirmations and it's music, and that's what I'm doing. And had no idea how to do anything with the music business, didn't know where to go to record anything, none of that. I just knew, okay, I'm going to put myself in position to where whenever that happens, I'll be ready. I'll at least have some material. And so I actually just started writing. I met Evie. We were at Live Oak one day, which is a lounge here, listening to music. And we, you know, connected, linked, our energy aligned. And as we started talking, she, you know, mentioned, oh, you know, in addition to my business, I am I'm a lyricist, I'm a rapper. And I was like, okay. And, you know, honestly, a lot of times, especially in the Houston area, when someone tells you they're a rapper, you're like, okay, all right, here we go. But when I listened to her stuff, it was actually super dope. And I was like, oh no, you're literally like really talented. And I told her, hey, I have all these poems and all these affirmations that I've written that I hear music in my head, but that's not my gift. Like, I don't know how to make it. And she was like, oh, let me connect you with my people and that type of thing. And so we just kind of started working together, and Vibe With Me was born within like 4 hours. She had listened to the song from this beat producer, and she had saved it, but she was just like, it needs something more than what I can give to it. And she let me listen to it, and immediately I got chills all the way down my spine through my fingers. And I was like, okay, I have to have this beat. And so went through the paperwork, did the whole thing to get the licenses and everything. And I literally sat there and was writing, and I wrote it probably in less than an hour. We wrote it, then we went to the studio, recorded it, finished the complete song in a 4 hour session in the studio. It was just a divine moment. And since then, she's featured me on a couple of her things. I featured her on a couple more things. And, we're both individual artists. We want to be clear on that. We're not a girl group. We're individual artists. Right. Right. We're not a girl group. But sometimes you have a synergy, right, with people where each of you inspires each other's gifts. And so she's got a very unique sort of style and talent and way about her, and I have a very unique sort of style and talent and way as well. And so I think that Vibe With Me really is a good blend of both of us, I think.
Awesome. So before we listen to this, I wanted to, you talked about meeting her and everything. I wanted to tell the audience kind of how you and I met. So
Yes.
I was driving to a book signing, and I got there, and there was no parking anywhere. Like, no, I was like, you know what? I drove around 2 or 3 times. I'm like, okay, there's nowhere for me to park.
Right.
I'm gonna end up getting told if I try to just
Right.
put my car somewhere. So let me
Right.
just pull over at this gas station. I said, I'm already dressed. I was ready to go out and do something cool. You know what I mean? I can't go to this book signing. There's no parking. Let me go to Facebook events. I pull up Facebook events, and it says suggested for you.
I
And
love
at
it.
the top of the list is her listening party.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I saw Kathy Tatum is going.
Yeah.
And I knew Kathy.
Mhm.
I was like, Kathy Tatum's going. I know somebody there. Okay,
Right,
let me
right.
just drive
Let
over
me just
to
go
the listening
see.
party.
It's
Yeah.
parking there.
It's open,
Yeah.
it's private. It
Nope.
just says listening party.
Yes.
Suggested for you. Kathy Tatum is going.
I love
Okay.
it.
So I drive over. I walk in. She invites me in like I was supposed to be there.
Yes.
And I sit down and everything, and wonderful music. You won't get to hear it, but I want you to tell them where they can listen to it in a minute. But I told the story, because she had a portion of her listening party where she invited any artist in the
Mhm.
room to perform, and I said, I'm here with all you beautiful people. I only know one person in this room, and I got the invite from Facebook events. This was suggested for me, and so I'm here, and I will share, one of my pieces of poetry with you. And then she came and supported me at an event, and then I invited her to come on the podcast, and we played her music at that event at the Shrine. In fact, we have a show coming up.
Yes.
You guys can go on Eventbrite.
Yes.
You can either get tickets from me or tickets from her.
Yes.
Either one. So there's an Eventbrite that says Poetry in Motion
Mhm.
for November 13th. It's Sunday, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. So if you are local in the Houston area, we will be playing their music. They will be
Yes.
performing live. And we played their music at the other event that we had, and we had a wonderful turnout. We had sound bowls, comedy, music, poetry.
Yes.
We're doing the same thing this time. Well, different people will be there.
Mhm.
It will be an open mic also, so if you are an artist in the Houston area, we have several slots where people can come in and join and perform after our featured artists have gone on. So we're gonna listen to her song "Vibe With Me," and those of you, as I said, who are listening live won't be able to hear it, but where can they find it if they want to be streaming it?
So you can go to joysoulmusic.com go directly to that website, and you can actually click as soon as you get to the website, it'll have you subscribe to get updates and things like that. And then right when you scroll down, you'll see the album art, and just click play, and you can play the song right there, stream. You also can click on that link, and if you actually want to purchase Vibe with me to have and put it in your your Rolodex of good high vibrational songs to get you up in the morning and get going, you can go directly to that link, and it'll take you to my Bandcamp, and you'll be able to purchase it from there.
All right, so we're gonna listen now